All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for My Hero Academia, Season 4, Episode 22. All right, we have Gentle and La Brava. And she's about to use her quirk.
Indeed.
We'll find out what that is this episode. And Deku is trying to hold a heavy steel beam, which we had clarified, and we ended up looking it up. And holy crap, yeah, that thing is huge.
Very heavy.
Very heavy. And him only using 20% at this point makes it also rather awkward. We are in a situation, though, where they are going to get into UA at this point.
But the thing is that they're not planning on doing anything bad
necessarily,
other than breaking in, but
which will ruin the celebration, what have you.
If they get caught, or if it's made aware that they're doing it,
right? And even if it's a thing of where it ends up being a thing where Aries still gets to have the wonderful time there, and
then
everything goes
still
on,
have a victory.
We can still have a victory, but if he films it and then ends up releasing it later, it will still tarnish UA's reputation.
That's true. Yeah.
So there's multiple angles of this going on here. Deku needs to basically be able to handle this quietly, but also handle it sufficiently to where he he doesn't actually ruin everything. Because I think potentially even the attempt of them trying to get in could cause UA to take precautionary measures.
Definitely. And they'll be able to get in pretty far, even if they do end up getting caught. But hopefully things can maybe be resolved in a peaceful manner and everything that is a victory for everyone.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Just a good old-fashioned Nakama conversation.
That's right.
No jutsu.
Yes.
Let's do it. But Deku, ganbatte, buddy.
Good luck.
Yeah. Without further ado, y'all, let's just jump right into it. All right, everyone. Now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. All right. Okay. We got ourselves a really emotionally wholesome and just positive episode.
I did not expect this one to be the end of it, as far as Gentle and the Brava go, but that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, so now we can entirely focus on the festival in the next episode. But it's something special that My Hero Academia does every once in a while. It's not as frequent as I maybe would like it, but I love that they constantly remind us about what it means to be a hero, and that is to save people's hearts.
Right.
Now, what's brilliant about the Gentle and La Brava combo backstory bit is that Gentle started out wanting to be a hero. He wanted to do that, and he wasn't he didn't display high aptitude or high capacity to take tests in the school. Well, who can relate to that? But then not only that, he ended up in a situation where he had if I act, I might be able to save someone. But he rolled a nat 1. And no, it ruined his family. They were ridiculed, and probably in some ways, all of his chances in society were taken away because of that moment.
It's something that I always
record basically from being a young adult.
It's something that I always was wondering if MHA was ever going to go into, because and they didn't really need to, in the sense that this is with the level of sort of realism versus stick to the themes of this show. They don't need to go into what about all the accidental times that people would just end up dead because,
they use their quirk wrong.
Right, because the quirk is something that is tailored to each individual person. It's not, there's no way to truly know what the limitations or possibilities for your quirk are. So, you have someone that has a durability quirk and it's just not enough and they get pasted, right? Like something like that, right?
Or something as dramatic as Aries' quirk and what happened to her family. It's just hinted at in the ED.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff I'm definitely sure would happen more often than not.
But with how they've brought up the whole idea of that there's hero society and then there's the outcasts from that society for reasons that could be because they're just horrible evil people, or it could be something much simpler in that they tried to help and it didn't work. I love that La Brava and Gentle were both outcasts when they found each other, and yet
La Brava felt entirely like she was the one going up to this wonderful person that was so far and above beyond her, and yet he accepted her without a second thought.
Right.
It's to show that there was a good-natured soul in him that went beyond the labels of hero and villain. And I think that's the main theme they're trying to bring up in this arc, is that villains need to be saved too.
Yep, exactly, which is great foreshadowing for when that eventually most likely happens with Shigaraki,
at the end of the show. Yeah.
But also, it was the idea that it wasn't just that Gentle saved La Brava.
Yes.
She saved him too. Right?
Yep.
The idea that the, the total, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, right? That each of them on their own wouldn't have ended up, like, they weren't doing well, right? And it would have continued to get worse.
Right.
If La Brava hadn't shown up, who knows where Gentle would have gone?
Yeah,
right?
he might have looked at all the dislikes and the bad comments and stuff on the first video and been like, yeah, screw this. I don't, no, I'm not going to.
And with the fact that he was going to the whole supervillain, anthology or history, book and all that stuff, because maybe this is where I can do some good,
to be at the very least recognized.
Yeah, that could turn dark pretty quick.
Oh yeah, babes cry for it, grown men die for it.
Yep, recognition. Yeah. But they had it all work, and the way I love the fact that they basically just flung Deku away from the fight.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, we're going to both get arrested. She still has a life ahead of her and all that stuff, and I kind of roped her into this, even though she definitely wanted to be here alongside me.
Right.
If there's a way that I can protect her, then there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that they both, Deku and him, were able to talk things through, and because like for me, I kind of wanted Gentle to beat Deku, like not in the fight necessarily, but like I wanted him to be able to do his thing and have it work out, Yeah,
they made us root for the villain, which is brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah,
we ended up seeing a guy who's basically the underdog. He's the one that ended up, getting trounced on by society because of a little mistake that he made.
Yeah.
Did it end up having dramatic consequences? But then you also look at a character like La Brava, and we realize that, well, one of the things that I've always really found quite fascinating with regards to love stories in traditional media is a lot of the things that the pursuer does can often end up actually looking pretty creepy and stalkerish.
Yes, definitely.
And it's amazing actually how often just the fact that, if they're attractive or if they're interesting, then I kind of overlook the fact that a lot of the things that they did kind of could be seen as that way.
Whereas in here, they own it, where it's she understands that, I'm being creepy by doing this, right? And yet it's something where they're able to accept each other because they've both been...
Yeah, I'm talking about the middle school thing. I'm talking about how in the middle school thing and stuff like that, they immediately got their pain and rejection of it, and it killed her entire desire to live. Like
also, let's be real here. When you're a little kid and you have a crush on someone, you're absolutely doing things that if a grown adult were to do it, people would be like, "Yep, stalk her," right? Yep. But her only difference is that she actually told the person, that that she did all those things.
That's right. Just continuing to stalk them and not doing anything like that.
Yeah.
But I just in this, like you're saying, they own it specifically with her there, and yet he just overlooks that because it's more about the connection here. It's more about actually having someone that will be with him through this.
Yep.
And honestly, like, this is something that I feel like is really good principle that can be taken out of the context here, is that when you approach someone with a lot to give, like you're throwing so much right out front, like out the gate, basically saying, I offer all this to you, no boundaries or anything like that, you will often get rejected.
Sure.
Like often. But one of the things that's really important about vulnerability is that it invites connection.
Sure.
So by her being vulnerable and coming up to this random stranger and just being like, hey, you inspired me, you moved me, I want to offer my services, my editing capabilities, what have you, and we'll be a dynamic duo. he gets the opportunity to go, you know what? I want to accept this person. He could have rejected her.
Yep.
And she probably would have been like extremely depressed after that.
She was probably prepared for that because she certainly seemed surprised when he just accepted her with open arms like he did.
Yeah, it doesn't fall under the patterns of her past.
Yep.
Which she really only has one reference point for, but still it's her entire worldview shaped around that.
Yep.
So I just love that in this case, it wasn't that she ended up being some attractive offer in terms of what she brought, even though, yes, her editing skills and what have you would potentially help.
Yeah.
There was something more to it than that, and that was that he recognized the other outcast. He saw basically the person like looking for an opportunity to do something with their lives, and he's like, yes, we're kindred spirits in that regard. And then they became close over the course of time with that. And it's just wonderful.
There were a few details that they introduced here that I thought were really cool.
Yes.
One was the whole thing of the dark circles around her eyes. Now, we could double check this, but I believe in his earlier videos, he didn't have the dark circles around his eyes, right?
But he added it in.
But he added that in makeup-wise to fit in with her, which is just like...
I love it.
That is so cool.
Yep.
Second, his name, Gentle Criminal. He was branded a criminal, but he's a gentle person. He was just trying to help.
Gentleman criminal is what it kind of short for.
Right. But the idea that sums up his entire story. It's like him trying to tell the world, I'm not a bad guy. Then her. So, La Brava, honey. So so I don't know which honey it's referring to, whether it's literally honey or like,
endearment.
Term of endearment, honey.
Yeah. It's
both
probably
work.
Yeah.
Both work. But with the term of endearment, okay, that's really cute and all that stuff. For actual honey, well, he's obsessed with tea, right? It's the thing that brings sweetness to something that would otherwise be rather bitter, right? And he makes sure to drink it, as a ritual, before every video, and everything. So it's, I love it.
It's so cute because one of the things I loved about Bacano so much, just keep bringing it up. You haven't seen Bacano. It's so amazing. The best characters in the show are a couple that are Bonnie and Clyde ripoffs, basically.
Yep.
But the thing is that they're criminals, very clearly.
Violent criminals as boys.
But they are the good guys. Like, they are the... They're the transcendent protagonists across all the stories of Bacano.
They are the best-hearted people out of everyone in the show.
And in this story here, one of the things that I think that transcends this little escapade of theirs, this little hijinks ensued and what have you, is that while Gentle came from a place of, I would say... Well, Gentle came from a place of not notoriety with regards to this, but he came from a place where he was seeing himself as nothing. But he had this confidence, he had this belief in himself that, I don't give up, Mom. Like, I've still got this. And then when everyone throws him out, he ends up accepting the one person that comes by, I think because they were the only person to come by.
Oh, yeah.
Then, in the final moments of their little bit here, I think he basically accepted Deku as his hero for this time here, because by him throwing him away and basically just trusting that they'll be able to get out of this, he's basically saying, Deku, you're the only one that can save us here. If you say literally anything to the authorities, if you make even the slightest, just anything about this, if you breathe a word of this, our lives are over. Potentially. But in this case, what might just end up happening is that they'll fine him, they'll terminate probably his YapTube channel, and then they'll probably ask that he do some community service work.
But basically, they'll be able to bounce back.
They'll be able to... God damn it. Well played. They'll be able to bounce back by the power of their love. Oh!
And...
I love it. It's so cheesy.
Oh, it's totally cheesy.
She has a love quirk.
Yeah.
What?
I love it.
What?
Like, it's great. And okay. One of the other things that I think is really important here and really awesome is that it was something that was absolutely spurned for her, right? since she was very young, right? First year of middle school, so that's like 12, right?
Yeah. First year, yeah.
But it wasn't destroyed. It wasn't like it was gone because of that bad thing that happened to her. One of the things that I just it wasn't given focus, but boy, did it rile me up, was Gentle's mother.
Yeah.
So here her son is trying to apply himself and all that stuff. And then she immediately does a comparison, when he's in the middle of like struggling and failing, of like, oh, wow, so-and-so's already become, blah, 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 already done this, already has her own agency, whatever. And then like when it shows her like throwing books and like TV remotes at him and stuff, it's like, really? Yeah. Are you bleepity bleepity bleep serious? Like,
yeah.
Like,
I think it's the typical helicopter parent that lives vicariously through their kid.
Yep.
So,
and then it's like, you failed me. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, because one of the things that's kind of brilliant about the way she said it was, I think she said Takahashita's or what have you son.
Yeah.
So she's actually more comparing the parents' ownership of the other kid with her ownership of her own son, which I'll just say, as far as like a very efficient way to
characterize someone that's tertiary or
exactly
beyond that at best.
She has no name, no character, other than the fact that is something that anyone who's experienced that or seen that type of parenting instantly like has bile like rise up in the back of their like throat, just like that stuff pisses me off to no end.
And in a lot of ways it goes with Gentle's quirk, right? He fails all these times, but he can bounce back. Also, things that are sort of slung at him, they can just sort of bounce off, right?
If he lets them.
Right, if he lets them, yeah. And that can also make it very important that he has someone that he lets go inside that bouncy, protective shell, right?
Because it's not actually on his skin. It's an actual thing he has to project out.
Yep. Yeah.
And that ends up being a thing where if you just project that out constantly, you end up creating a shell.
Yeah.
Where you're all alone.
Right. And
I love the way the quirks reveal so much more about the characters in My Hero Academia. It's
even though
really cool.
even though the quirks would have been something that would have been revealed, before they were 4 years old and all that stuff and blah 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 blah. It's just I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah. I loved so much, and it moved me to tears, the fact that this is something where La Brava basically starts begging Deku, and she goes, he even forgot the routine. Like, he forgot the tea breaks he loves to get ready.
Yeah, like...
What bright future? He's my light. Like, what? Don't
my
take
only
him
light,
from, Don't take him from me. Don't take him away. I'd die if I had to be separated from him.
Yeah.
And so she's basically like, I'm trying to commit as many crimes as I can right now so that I end up staying with him, because he's probably going to end up, if they get here, he's going to take the fall.
Yeah.
Like, because he loves me. But I love seeing characters trying to save another person in an impossible situation when they have no real ability to save them. Yeah. So they have to just throw themselves at the mercy of whoever's in front of them to be please help. It's so powerful.
One of the other things that I think is really important here, when Gentle throws Deku off finally.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he threw Deku off. Deku's, sailing away. At that point, couldn't he have just started, going on the move again with La Brava, right? Because, I mean, if you think about it, no one's around them now. They had to wait for the heroes to get there.
Yeah, they had a couple seconds where they might have been able to get away. Who knows? Yeah.
But the thing is that if they had done that, one, it probably would have shut down the Culture Festival, because there wouldn't have been someone that they would have apprehended when they knew someone had broken in. Right?
Yep.
And two, it also would have, escalated the crime. Right?
Yeah, and Deku probably would have continued to chase them.
Yeah.
So one of the things I think that is really cool with this is that Deku ends up saving them because he fought them. And not only that, because he shared with them why he became a hero.
Yes.
So it calls back all the way to the
he was
beginning
able to
that
communicate,
and it reveals the similarities between Deku and Gentle. Now, one of the things about the dream that I found rather interesting was the idea that Deku's dream that he talks about it
Mm-hmm.
was one that he literally in the first episode started to give up on.
Yeah.
Right at about the point when it all comes to a head, and then All
Yep.
Might tells him you too can be a hero.
Right.
I like that in some ways we're also showcasing how strong Gentle had to be to spend those years alone, giving up. Whereas with with Deku,
mm-hmm.
his mom, while she might not have been as encouraging as she wanted to be later, the fact that she was nearby and her love basically helped kind of him in the way it could. And he had the videos of All Might. He had basically this really warm, loving environment and stuff. Imagine a Deku that graduated high school and basically just ended up in kind of a similar situation. This is in some ways what Deku could have been if the story started 3 or 4 years later.
Well, also, so, okay. Yes, absolutely.
Because he could have been like the guy that's, I'm here, I'm just studying your hero thing. Yep. Get out of the way, you're going to make things more complicated. Well, and then Deku ends up in trouble where they need to save him, so they save him, but someone else gets hurt. Well, and they're like, Deku, you kid, like, you can't do that.
Well, and what's one of the things that All Might said to Deku? You're someone who acts without thinking, right? Yeah. That's a trait of, all the greatest heroes, right? Is that they acted without thinking.
Yeah.
So did Gentle. Just didn't work out.
Yep.
That sucks.
That sucks.
That's
it's a meta thing also, because it's basically letting us know that sometimes you're the main character and you're jumping in to save people just works.
Yep.
But it doesn't have to work all the time.
It doesn't have to work all the time. Yeah. And when you're in a point where you have given up, sometimes, a lot of times the best thing that can happen, All Might had one for all. But it was someone that came up and said, I believe in you.
Yep.
Right? And that relit that fire when it had otherwise died out.
Yeah. If anything, I'd say All Might is a little bit of an exception because his dream was so powerful, it attracted his master. Because his was something where he's like, I want to become a symbol. That was his in high school.
For All Might?
For All Might, yeah. The previous one for All Holder.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, I'm talking about with where Deku was at and All Might showing up.
Yes.
Because, even though it's different because, no, there's other similarities.
Oh, there are some similarities,
so, someone that gave up on their dream to be a hero, then someone shows up who is physically frail.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
At least in design. Right? Because All Might had his other form. And then they believe in the other person, so they give them their power. It's.
I mean, it's the direction is different this way because it's the kid and the younger one in this case giving the old jaded one their power.
Sure, but it's still a thing where the person with the frail design gives, even though All Might has two designs,
Right. I got you.
Gives it to the other person that had lost that sight of their dream and given up, and then they're able to go and do stuff. And
La Brava, you too can be a gentle criminal.
Yep.
Yeah,
but that was
it's a cool way to basically have a mini arc of conflict story or what have you that thematically just sets up so much potential with regards to the way that we look at villains in the future, and in some ways heroes.
Yeah,
because one of the things that they've been doing slowly but surely over the course of a long period of time, ever since Stain was brought up into this this world, is that things aren't so cut and dry with heroes. It's not so black and white.
Well, with Mr. Rough Sniffer, I can't remember his name.
Mr. Hound.
Yeah,
basically.
okay.
I'm a hound dog.
How did I forget that? But when he found them, he was like, Pebble on the road. I was like, wait, what?
No. That was Gentle Criminal that said that. He was basically doing the equivalent of, I tripped.
Oh.
And I came to turn myself in.
Wow.
I think it's maybe a turn of phrase, Pebble on the road, basically saying that there was something that I encountered that was a little thing that kind of took me off course, and now I want to turn myself in.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, whoa.
Either that, it's the equivalent of I fell down some steps, that's why I'm so beat up.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, it might be a translation issue thing, but it was Gentle Criminal that said that. ectoplasm and Hound. They didn't say anything.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
They just went and came, took it.
But this is great. Now we have everything all smooth and good. So that
we get Slice of Life Festival next episode.
We can have dedicated. Okay, since this has happened, I would say next episode.
Yes,
especially since it's episode 23. So there's not many episodes left in the season. Next episode is definitely going to be music.
I think actually with Rop giving us the thing at the end where it was showing the brightened up versions of everything, like took off the shading.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much for that, Rob. I think Rob was probably also ninjaing out the preview potentially for the next episode to make sure we didn't accidentally see any of it.
Sure.
Because it probably has
it probably does. I mean, why wouldn't they put that in the preview if it's happening in the next episode?
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We have ourselves the end of a very, very good example of a tertiary character antagonist of sorts that is also a kind of a Shinso kind of character, or someone that's an antagonistic force to the protagonist, but is of themselves a good person who has a rejected part of them from hero society that has led to them having to overcome so much more in order to get to where they're at.
Right.
And then, of course, we are moved to tears by the brilliance of the little side story that's efficiently just kind of dropped in like a nugget in the midst of a really cool fight, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Like, and okay, if you watch this arc, right, and you're like, not really one of my favorite arcs, it wasn't as thrilling as a lot of the other ones or whatever, I understand that. But I would say this is one of the best side arcs that they've done in MHA, where it's not like obviously the super epic important stuff, just because it holds to the theme so well.
And we're still not done yet.
But there's a reason why these characters, I feel like, are in here in the scope of the story, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's just
like one of the things I'm gonna get a little bit like theory crafting here, because one of the things that I've been like watching them just slowly unveil is everything that they're doing with Endeavor is basically an example of someone that looks like the villain. He has a backstory that sounds like the villain.
Oh yeah.
He is currently the #1 hero right now.
Yeah.
What kind of world ends up accepting him?
Sure. Well, and granted, he's working on changing.
That's the thing. They're actually like having him work on changing himself.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That's like, hey, the Fire Lord? I mean, the Father Lord, whatever.
Right.
That guy. Yeah, you know him. What if we had him be just a dad, but he's also like a hero? Okay. Run with this a second. But he's going to end up being a bad guy, right? Like, no. Eventually, we're going to slowly but surely kind of make
a slow burn, if you will.
A slow burn character development, potentially.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know about that, son. Maybe.
Well, also with all the X-Men
kind
of
we started
stuff,
it, and then the X-Men stuff that's building up.
Right, like, because, they're accepting of quirks and everything, but with all the fracturing of hero society and all the stuff that's been happening, and that's another reason why Gentle and La Brava, I think, are so important, is because it's, again, building up that notion, right?
Right.
Like, that might be what the next arc is, and they had to have them in here in order to have that next arc happen and fit.
Right. I think that we're heading to a hero society where the lines between villain and hero are blurred, and then the next great threat comes from within hero society.
Sure.
And that it is not like some super secret, like all for one hidden agent or something like that, but it's just someone who opposes at the very least the way things are going, and then they are used as like a backdrop to show, not a backdrop, but as a focal point to see even more the dysfunction within hero society, so that someone like Deku, some of the other pro heroes and stuff like that, can actually get that perspective on things and go, we need to change that a little bit. And then, of course, in the midst of that chaos, Shigaraki is doing, doing his thing. I am very excited for the Culture Festival coming up next episode. Like, you guys cannot believe, and I can't imagine what you must be thinking.
I am giddy. Like, the only thing that's been, if anything, kind of hampering my giddiness is the fact that they've hard put it on hold with the stuff with Gentle Criminal and La Brava.
It's going to ramp up so fast.
Oh, man.
I can't wait to see Class 1B's plan.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
But just with the predictions and stuff like that,
yes.
Once this Culture Festival is over, I am curious what will be the tie-in like they had in season 3 to things like what they had with the overhaul stuff. What will be the equivalent with that? Because in the last season, we had basically a random twice backstory episode that was the segue into it. In this next one, what I would really like, personally, is I would like to have a day or like part of an episode be like a day in the life of Endeavor.
Okay.
I want to look at what he has to deal with from being the new #1 hero, and maybe they can even have them try to deal with that big
Gigantomachia.
That big thing that was like All for One's like special thing or what have you,
right?
And have that be like the tie-in, but have it be more from like the slice of life thing. And my thought is that Endeavor might be like trying to showcase that he's a good dad, so he comes to the school festival in the next episode to support his son. And Todoroki's just like, nah, forget you. And it's just another thing of where he's like, it's okay, NG. Like, you'll get it next time, Daryl. You'll get it next time. You know?
Oh man,
but it's more of a mixed bag because he's an abusive dad. Like,
the one thing that I think we don't really have to worry about with Endeavor is his resolve, right? Because he's a very driven person, and that's been a problem in the past.
Sure.
But that means that once he's set a goal, and the fact that he's sort of sunk his teeth into the idea of, I'll become a hero that you can be proud of,
right?
I don't think he'll give up on that. I
just think he'll be disheartened at points.
Sure, but he got to the second place position when All Might was around because he, was more, he burned hotter than anyone else, basically.
That's true.
That's
true. Yeah, I just feel like we need to at the very least start to humanize some of the characters that seem to be getting that little bit of extra focus here. And I would say that Endeavor is the main one that they've been hinting at since the conversations with him and All Might.
Yeah, they have been doing that a lot this season specifically.
Yeah, with this season.
Which makes sense because All Might's gone now, so, how can you not?
And then the other ones are the actual League of Villains. Like, a lot of them have been slowly getting humanized. So characters like Shigaraki, Twice, Toga, potentially even Dabi. In some ways, Dabi...
Dabi and Endeavor in the same, I mean... we were saying that Dabi was the next League of Villain person that had to get, good focus because it's kind of been on the back burner. And if Endeavor is also, that does kind of go very well.
I like some Toto in my Roki. Yo, dog, I heard you like Todoroki, so we're going to put some Todoroki in your Todoroki so Todoroki can get development with the mystery new Todoroki. Whoa! What a twist!
Yeah.
But anyways, this has been a wacky discussion, y'all. This has been a wacky but really emotionally
good
wholesome episode.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction discussion, come back here next week because that's when we'll have it up because we're watching these week to week with the rest of y'all. It's a lot of fun. But if you want to check out full-length timer reactions of these here, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. Any level of support, though, gets you access to our Discord where you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general. There's a manga-only community in there as well if you want to talk with them about that. And you also talk with Jake about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yes, I wrote a sci-fi novel called Battle Lines, and it's pretty cool. If you want to check it out, it's on Amazon. Link down the doobly-doo below. Go do that.
All right, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.